You know those people that just don't seem to fit into any type? They seem too cold to be a feeler, but also way too intense to be a thinker? By the end of today's video, you'll see how someone can seem like a complete contradiction at first, but still have consistent, fascinating personality patterns if you take the time to dig deeper. And don't worry, today we're not typing off of any vibes, body language, or first impressions. We actually spent over 3 hours researching for today's video so you guys can get the best information possible and hopefully learn something new today.
Sometimes I get so flustered. Oh my God, this motherfucker just did, you know, whatever the next thing is.
Very aware of his feelings. I think some people think he might be a thinker just because he's not so expressive, but he is quite emotional.
I'm here for everybody who understands me and relates to me, and anybody who don't can kiss my ass. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care.
Oh.
Like, honestly, his feelings are so like brought up all the time.
You know, what the fuck, this is, you know, this is bullshit to me because I felt like I was being overlooked.
You can see his own personal value system is all over the place. It's not a group expectation or value. It's very much like, hey, I'm just doing me. If you relate to me, cool. If not, screw you.
His feelings are not constipated at all. You can see them. They're intense. There's an intensity about Eminem that people know about, and that's his emotions.
I just do what I do. Like, you have your boy bands that want to be role models to kids. That's their business, but that's not real, and that's not how the world is.
I wasn't really seeing clues for introverted thinking or extroverted feeling. With FE anywhere in the stack, it's like, if I say this, this will impact how I'm seen by other people, how I fit in with different groups, and the different relationships and social hierarchies going on around. And so you have to think about whether doing that thing and expressing that way makes sense to do.
What would you say to people who kind of looked at that and then kind of felt hurt by some of the stuff?
Sorry. It's not my intent to make anyone feel hurt. Obviously, from watching my videos, it's never been a goal. Like, that would be kind of a stupid goal to make. My goal is to entertain. My goal is to make people laugh. That's what I really care about. That's where I really get a kick out of. You know, obviously, if anyone feels hurt, I genuinely feel sorry, and I don't want people to feel that way.
Either way, I'll have something a little bitchy to say at some point.
I mean, can't say that I care.
Really not.
Care for you.
That's like literally the worst attitude to have. Oh, you don't take her little comments personally, but you should care how she feels about you.
Yeah. So that's true.
But yeah, here he's basically saying to hell with that.
Just a lot of groups in general don't want to burn bridges. Like, I don't want to say this about this person because what if I meet them or whatever. I don't think like that. I think like, if there's a reason for me to burn a bridge, then I obviously don't want to speak to you ever in my life.
If you observe a lot of thinkers, because they don't trust feeling as a decision-making function, they're often not going to be like that emotionally spontaneous in the moment. One, they might be suppressing it, or two, they're not even like maybe noticing it.
If I feel a certain way, then I'm going to say it. I'm going to express it. A lot of people hold back, and I just don't hold back.
If someone was saying, if I feel a certain way, I say it, I express it. Clearly someone aware of how they feel and comfortable with how to express it and comfortable with that freedom to do it spontaneously.
How can I worry about any of these people and what they think? Sometimes it's a lot to take in. It's a lot to deal with, so I just don't.
All I heard him say nonstop was how he was different or thinking differently to everyone. There was a lot of him going, this is what I think, that this is how I feel, and you should be free to do whatever you want to do.
You know, people are going to pass judgment. They're going to say what they want to say, and they're going to make their own conclusions or whatever. And they're more than welcome to do it.
In a song, Kill You, you say, bitch, I'm gonna kill you. Whether you're a or a les, hate the answer is yes.
Yeah.
I mean, do you not like gay people?
No, I don't have any problem with nobody. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just whatever.
He has some personal way of going about himself, and he somehow doesn't understand, well, why is everyone else thinking like this?
The scene that I came up in, that word was thrown around so much. There's certain rappers that do and say the same things that I'm saying, and I don't hear no one saying anything about that. I didn't just invent saying offensive things.
It's like, we don't need to be responsible for that. I'm not being responsible for that.
Almost zero.
You know, some parent who's listening to this and says, well, my kid hears you using the F word and starts to use it themselves. Do you feel a sense of responsibility?
I feel like it's your job to parent them. I'm a parent, I have daughters. How would I really sound as a person, like walking around my house
bitch, pick this up. You know what I mean? Like, I don't
That's
cuss,
not how
I
you
don't-
are in your real life.
Profanity around my house, no. But this is music, this is my art.
That's interesting.
You know when they say double standards?
In my household, no profanity.
I'm not trying to shade Eminem, but there's someone who's clear with there's a different rule in whatever context, I think. Not what might be like a general rule in the outside continuously. There's a lot of IP people problems that he non-stop talks about. I don't know why they think that way. It does come up a little bit like that, a fear position that doesn't have awareness for getting themselves out of their own judgment and personal thinking and going, okay, let's think of like what might be the overall consensus of things.
I would rather get in front of a camera and not change anything from that room that I walked into this room, not change the way I act, the way I talk or anything. I'd rather just be myself no matter where I'm at, you know what I mean? No matter who's listening or who's watching.
No, I just know who I am, my music and what I want to express, and I'm fine to separate myself, and I don't need to ask permission. I'm not compromising myself.
It doesn't matter if the movie did nothing or it did 100,000 million. I'm not in this for the money, and I'll still say that to the day I die.
You had the #1 movie and the #1 album in the country.
I don't focus too much on that.
I don't care about that. What my output is, money and success.
I'm not benchmarking that to make my decisions. I'm going off of what I love to do, and to the day I die, I know I love this. It's all these personal reasons as opposed to any sort of group expectation, group values, group responsibility, thinking about how he comes across to other people.
These aren't personal attacks on people. I've never met these people. It's kind of like picking names out of a hat, and if your name rhymes with something good, or you know what I mean, then you might get it. If you're, you know, a pop figure, you know what I mean.
It might just rhyme, so it just works.
Yeah, it's a little like uncalibrated PE. There's a resource out there and I just used it. What? I used a resource, now why are you being upset with me? That's what I mean by it's uncalibrated TE. I'm not even thinking about like the outside impact.
I used to go up here and pass out flyers for when I used to paint on clothes. This used to be a store called A.L. Price. I used to go up here every day.
When he was driving around, he's like, look at this, look at this, look at this. Look, this is the place where I sold records. He actually seemed to have a story about like lots of different places.
This is the house back there. There used to be a garage. We had our garage burned down.
No guessing, not a lot of guessing at all. It's all very concrete. It's not going into the realm of what else it could mean. It's a lot about his experience, what's happening to him, what's been happening. There's times when he does like pattern his personal experiences, but I find with introverted intuition, like it's always going to go back to that same thing. So like the narrative of him having to come from nothing.
My mother used to give me $2 for cigarettes. I used to go up to the store, steal the cigarettes, keep the money for lunch the next day. It was the longest I had ever went to a school. It was like 6 months. So I started making friends, and it was real hard for me to make friends when I was little.
With introverted intuition, it is like this, like, well, it's a theme. This is my theme. And so like sometimes that theme rolls over into everything in life too. So they just keep coming back to these like same principles.
And he's like, and just look at his eyes, he was so wide-eyed about saying it and everything. And I was like, what's a buzz clip? And he told me what a buzz clip was. And I was like, wow. I sat down on the couch and I was like I was like, wow, I'm actually doing it.
When he said the day that I knew I made it, there was a little bit of NI meaning and patterning in there in terms of like what he was reading and how he was reading that for himself. Like I looked into his eyes, I observed these things, and I started to understand what it meant for myself. I saw these reactions, or I heard these little sounds in the music that helped me understand the general pattern of things.
I think everything fell into place right as it should. Everything went according to plan, I guess you could say.
Awareness to always go somewhere. In order for NI to figure out what's really going on, they sort of need to like go, well, where is this going? Where's the meaning? You know, what's the why that I'm going towards? I'm trying to manage something so I don't go somewhere that I don't want to.
It was in context of his daughter, right?
Yes.
You know, I have a little girl at home that I gotta see her hit 40. She's always been the driving force for me to like stay busy, stay focused. Cause I can't fail. I can't fail. Cause if I do, like, then I can't be a failure. I can't have her grow up and not be able to say her dad succeeded.
That's how they understand what's going on for them. There needs to be this almost like understanding of how the direction is going.
When he says, you know what I mean? Usually I'm like, no, I don't know what you mean. Know what I mean? Know what I mean? You know? It's like, no, I don't. Like, just like say it.
Well, because SE and NI is like taking everything in and then going, this is where I think this is going, or this is what I think it means. So like, you're seeing everything that I'm seeing, right? In terms of the concrete and then the abstract. The experience in the outside is helping me create a pattern on the inside.
I was at my Aunt Edna's house, and I sleep in the living room sometimes with the TV on. I remember I was about to go to sleep, and I don't even know what channel I was watching. And that came on when they were walking up to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yeah, this is a great example of how extroverted sensors can think back on their past experiences, bring them up, storytell, get really excited about sharing lots of details. Like years ago, I used to talk about how it was an introverted sensing thing to be reflecting back on your past experiences and what you learned and what you know before. But you got to be a little careful because there's a lot of nuance there. Extroverted sensing types, again, because they're paying attention to their concrete experience, they will have their own version of recounting their past experiences. With here, EMINEM, if you hear what he's saying, he's talking about like, this was my reality. Back then, this is my reality. He's describing the scenes like you're there. He's like, I was doing this, and I turned my head like this, and this, and this, and I had to push play on this tape, and it was like here and here. It's a lot more of him describing his full experience, and he's describing the whole thing like a scene, and the point of it, the unspoken point of it, is this was my reality.
I remember I was at my Grandma Nan's house. I used to, all we really had here in Detroit was The Wizard. And The Wizard was on WJLB. So what I would do is record the radio and then wake up the next day for school.
This is my perspective because of my reality. That's what he's fleshing out. It's not like, and that's why I learned to have self-esteem, or that's when I learned that I needed to change friend groups, or that's when I learned. He's not talking about it because of a specific learning or takeaway.
No, it's like, well, on the theme of hip hop being impactful to people, here's an experience of my youth that I can tell you how it was impactful to me and people at the time. It's like, this is a general pattern that I saw. We're talking about a general theme right now. Let me pull an experience that I can go back to that connects to this theme that we're talking about. But it doesn't mean I'm expressing something I learned from that past, or there's a lesson that I took from that. I'm just letting you know that there's evidence in my life where I see this theme matches up with me. So when extroverted sensing is bringing up stories, it's bringing up evidence to match what the theme is trying to explain or describe.
That's why it's not really a takeaway. I am always like,
no.
So what was the point of that story? But
no, so because the takeaway is in the NI.
Yeah,
so extroverted sensing isn't in the takeaway.
Yeah, exactly.
Extroverted sensing is the evidence to support it.
What up, man? How you doing? Good. Good to see you, man. Can I redo that? That was terrible.
That was awful.
My self-esteem is gone. My confidence.
People think he's a thinker, and he's a feeler dumb. He's got a lot of emotion.
It's not that surprising if you think about it.
This is a lot of the reason why vibe typing is not really
Doesn't work.
as accurate.
No.
Because he might come off as like the reason he's a thinker is because he doesn't smile or something, but listen to all the times he's emotionally expressive.
Yeah, of course he doesn't fit in with the ISFP singing to butterflies stereotype, but yeah, why is that even the stereotype?
With FP men who haven't been given permission to learn how to express and process their feelings.
Or EMINEM.
It's like that. Like, so there's these FP men that have to show up masculine. You're not allowed to just like, you know, write poetry and express how you feel if you're getting bullied. So you have to think as well, like, this is a person that might actually be quite emotionally aware or impacted, but it doesn't mean that he's going to always look exactly like comfortable with being able to know how to express his emotions. That's something that people need to learn just in general as a life skill. If you haven't been given the permission to know how to process your feelings, even if you feel feelings a lot, it doesn't mean you're going to be a good role model of feeling.
And it's such a great example of how introverted feeling, it doesn't always need to look like the Timothy Chalamet or the Andrew Garfield, where it's like this very tender and sweet type of inner feeling. Like, introverted feeling does not mean tender and sweet. It means you're someone who's checking in and tracking how things personally make you feel and aligning things to your own internal personal value system. Your own, like, this is who I am and this is what I stand for as a person, as an individual. That could look so different compared to like every single person. MBTI isn't about putting anyone into a box. Instead, the coolest part about it is actually how it helps us break out of the boxes that we accidentally put onto other people to really understand them, even when they're totally different than what we were expecting. If you guys like learning MBTI from real life complex examples, together with people that actually like getting to know people, I think you'll love the membership. Check it out at learn.ericwen.com. On there, you can find full research breakdowns, exclusive analysis videos, and behind the scenes insights you won't find anywhere else. Links down below in the description if you want to check it out. Beyond that, thanks so much for watching today, guys. Catch you guys in the next ones.